In the heart of Rome lies a country so small you can walk across it in under an hour. Yet its influence has shaped kingdoms, toppled emperors, and guided over 1 billion believers. This is Vatican City, the smallest country on Earth, but home to one of the largest histories humanity has ever known. But why is it called the Vatican? How did this tiny piece of land become the center of a global religion? And how did it survive empires, wars, and revolutions? Tonight, we uncover the full story from ancient prophecy to modern power. Long before popes, churches, or even Christianity, this land was known as Vatican Hill. To the ancient Romans, this area was strange. It was outside the city walls, marshy, and considered unlucky. The name Vatican likely comes from the Latin word Vaticanus, which is possibly linked to vaticinium, meaning prophecy or divination. The Romans believed this was a place where seers spoke to the gods, a place of visions and warnings. Ironically, a hill once feared would later become sacred. In the 1st century AD, Rome ruled the known world, and Christianity was an illegal, underground faith. One man stood at the center of this dangerous new religion, Saint Peter, a simple fisherman turned apostle and one of the closest followers of Jesus Christ. Around 64 AD, during Emperor Nero's brutal persecution of Christians, Peter was arrested in Rome. According to tradition, he was crucified upside down, believing himself unworthy to die in the same manner as Christ. His body was then buried in a simple grave on the desolate Vatican Hill. At the time, it seemed insignificant. But that grave would change history forever. For nearly 3 centuries, Christians worshipped in secret. Then, in the 4th century, everything changed. Emperor Constantine the Great, in a move that shook the Roman Empire to its core, legalized Christianity. And when he learned where St. Peter, the rock of the church, was buried, he made a radical decision. A massive, glorious church would be built directly over Peter's tomb. This began the construction of Old St. Peter's Basilica, a monumental project that transformed the once feared Vatican Hill into the spiritual center of Christianity. Pilgrims began arriving from across the empire, journeying for months to visit the apostles' final resting place. The popes, as bishops of Rome and successors to Peter, rose in influence. Slowly but surely, Rome's power began to shift from emperors to bishops. As the Western Roman Empire crumbled under invasions and internal decay, one institution remained standing: the Church. In the power vacuum that followed, the popes became more than just religious leaders. They became de facto kings. By the Middle Ages, the Pope ruled vast territories across central Italy, known as the Papal States. From their seat on Vatican Hill, popes crowned emperors, launched crusades that reshaped the world, and dictated European politics. The Vatican was no longer just holy ground, it was a global power center, commanding armies and vast wealth. Then came the Renaissance, a golden age of art and culture, and the Vatican transformed once again. Popes like Julius II and Leo X became some of history's greatest patrons of the arts. They commissioned the finest artists of the era: Michelangelo, Raphael, Bernini, to glorify God and the Church. Michelangelo spent 4 agonizing years on scaffolding to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. A new, even grander St. Peter's Basilica rose from the ground, a masterpiece of architecture. Priceless artworks and ancient manuscripts poured into the Vatican, turning it into a living museum. Art became a powerful tool of faith, influence, and immortality. The Vatican was no longer just a spiritual capital, it was a cultural one. But this golden age wouldn't last. In the 19th century, the wave of nationalism sweeping across Europe finally reached Italy. The Italian unification movement, the Risorgimento, aimed to create a single, united Italian kingdom. This meant one thing: the Papal States, which had existed for over 1,000 years, had to go. In 1870, the Italian army captured Rome. The Pope lost nearly all his land and political power. For the next 60 years, the popes refused to leave the Vatican, declaring themselves prisoners of the Vatican. It was a period of intense crisis. The future of the Church and the Vatican itself was completely uncertain. Then, in 1929, history took another unexpected turn. After years of negotiation, the Italian government, led by Mussolini and the Holy See, signed the Lateran Treaty. The result? A brand new country was born. Vatican City State, the world's smallest independent nation. At just 44 hectares or 110 acres, it's smaller than Central Park in New York, yet it is fully sovereign, with its own laws, its own police force, Its own postal service, its own currency, and a global influence that far outweighs its size. Today, Vatican City is a world unto itself. It's home to the Pope, the spiritual leader of over 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. It safeguards the Vatican's secret archives, holding centuries of historical documents and secrets. It's protected by the Swiss Guard, the world's oldest and smallest standing army, renowned for their colorful Renaissance-era uniforms and unwavering loyalty. And it houses artistic and religious treasures older than most nations. Vatican City proves one undeniable truth: size does not define power. History does. From a pagan hill of prophecy to the site of Christian martyrdom, from the heart of a vast empire to a tiny, independent state, the story of the Vatican is the story of Western civilization itself. It is not just a place on a map, it is 2,000 years of living history. The smallest country on Earth, with one of the biggest stories ever told. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history fascinating, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories like this.